Live from the Star in Frisco, this is graduation for Plano West Senior High School, home of the Wolves.
Good evening, Plano West Senior High families. I am Billie Jean Lee, principal of Plano West Senior High. Before we begin our 2026 commencement exercises, I have a few announcements. First, I want to remind you that our graduation is being webcast live and it's available on pisd.edu/graduationlive and the Plano ISD YouTube page. Graduates may pick up their diplomas on Monday, June 1st in the auxiliary gym of Plano West from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Finally, I'd like to ask for the assistance of all our guests in conducting this ceremony in an atmosphere of dignity and respect. Many family members have traveled a long distance to celebrate with our graduates, and we want to make certain you can hear their names as they are called. Therefore, we ask that you please refrain from disruptive behavior. The use of air horns is prohibited, and those in violation will be escorted from the stadium by the security team. We thank you for your complete cooperation in making this event a success. And now, please remain seated as we welcome our distinguished faculty and staff of Plano West, joined by our graduates. You will be asked to stand for the presentation of colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the national anthem immediately following. Thank you.
Good evening, students and guests. My name is Alex Tran, and I am the 2026 Senior Class President at Plano West. Students, congratulations on making it here tonight, and for those of you joining us here, as well as on our online broadcast, we thank you for your overwhelming support for our students. Before we begin tonight's ceremony, I ask that you please join me in standing as the Plano West JROTC host our nation's colors, followed by the singing of the national anthem sung by Eric Chen, and please remain standing afterward for the reciting of the U.S. Pledge.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, please welcome to the podium Jade Mityas, Plano West Student Council President, who will be reciting the nation's pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may now be seated as we welcome back our principal, Mrs. Billie Jean Lee.
Good evening, graduates, and welcome family members, special guests, and visitors to this much anticipated occasion, the Plano West Senior High School commencement for the senior class of 2026. As we begin the graduation tonight, we'd like to introduce our special guest seated on the stage who will be presenting diplomas later in our program. We're very honored to have members of the Plano ISD Board of Trustees participating in our graduation. Dr. Lauren Tyra, Board President, Nancy Humphrey, Board Vice President, Catherine Chan Goodwin, Board Secretary, Tara Lance, trustee. Michael Cook, trustee. Sam Johnson, trustee. And Elisa Klein, trustee. We are also honored to have members of our district cabinet and leadership team joining us this evening. Dr. Teresa Williams, Superintendent of Schools. Dr. Celinda Freeman, Deputy Superintendent for Leadership and Operations. Lisa Wilson, Deputy Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. Ivan Cantu, Assistant Superintendent for Strategy and Innovation. Dr. Courtney Gober, Assistant Superintendent for Student Success. Dr. Patrick Tanner, Assistant Superintendent for Technology Services. Dr. Dewana Kendall, Chief of Employee Services. Leslie Range Stanton, Chief Communications Officer. And Courtney Reeves, Chief Financial Officer. Also joining us, Dr. Jennifer Pearson, Executive Director, School Leadership and Innovation, Secondary. Shauna Caney, Director of Communications. I would also like to introduce some special guests we have seated on the stage with us, and graduates, they will be congratulating you after you receive your diplomas and head down the stage. We have Mr. Brooks Baca, Principal of Jasper High School. And Mr. Andrew Jacob, Principal of Shepton High School. On behalf of the senior class and the faculty of Plano West, we want to thank all these individuals for their tremendous support. Now we will continue our ceremony with a video address by our salutatorian, Caitlin Fan, a proud team captain of Plano West Speech and Debate and member of the Homecoming Royalty Court. Please direct your attention to the stadium monitors for these student addresses.
Hi, class of 2026, and congratulations, graduates. Before I started drafting the hard part of this speech, I first wrote out a few thank yous to give. A huge thank you to the wonderful Plano ISD Board of Trustees and our superintendent, Dr. Teresa Williams, for their unending support. I'd like to thank the administration and faculty here at Plano West, our principal, Mrs. Lee, and my incredible counselor, Mrs. Jones, as well as the teachers here who have shaped how I view the world. Mrs. Lazard, Mr. Haile, and Mrs. Linkletter. Shout out to the best friends and people I've met, Anika, Josephina, Eric, Jessica, my AP Lit table, and my truly one-of-a-kind debate team. And an additional shout out to our wonderful valedictorian, Ryan. But you know what they say, second is the best. Just kidding. And finally, a huge thank you to my mom and dad. I wouldn't know myself without their constant selflessness. And to my sister Olivia for being my very first best friend. Every grad speech includes a bit of reminiscing, right? But instead of me attempting to generalize the experiences of over 1,200 people, I hope tonight you seek out your friends and family. Hold them a bit closer. Realize that the beauty of your time at this school was because of how deeply personal and individualistic it was. Feel free to forget the ever so slightly undercooked school lunch or the chronically broken AC, but never the people who have loved you and understood you through every stage of life. After all, we are nothing more than the memories that we've experienced. And with a few months still left in our pocket, find a way to capture the world that you've been able to build here. Now, when I was first writing this grad speech, I was honestly stumped. I kept thinking to myself, A, I'm not even 18, and B, luckily for the roads of Plano, I don't even have a driver's license yet. In other words, I have no real adult qualifications to give anyone life advice. But maybe the whole point of graduation is to embrace exactly where we are, caught between the thresholds of change. So, be young, yet be cognizant. In a world that tries to numb us to the realities of incessant global conflict, advocate with empathy. In a world where our fundamental rights have been reduced to privileges, face injustice with bravery. In a world where technology and artificial intelligence is often misused to erode humanity, seek originality in creation. And to all the women here today, in a world that undervalues yet overburdens us, always choose to speak. And in a world where kids like us are forced to grow up far too quickly, conditioned to fear the unconventional, continue to live with ambiguity. Today we celebrate that we are too old to be children, yet too young to really be adults yet. And although it sounds terrifying, to live both unanchored and relentlessly is our generation's greatest strength. I know we've had a fair share of reading literature this year. However, I'll leave you with one final quote, and then you won't have to read another book under Plano ISD ever again. In the novel When Breath Becomes Air, Paul Kalanithi writes, "Human knowledge is never contained in one person. It grows through the relationships that we create between each other and the world. And still, it is never complete." And class of 2026, I can't wait to see what imprint every one of you leaves on our world.
Thank you, Caitlin. Our next speaker is our valedictorian, Ryan Shee, a proud captain of the Plano West Speech and Debate Team.
Good evening, Plano West class of 2026. Students, staff, and families, I'm so honored and excited to stand before you. Today marks the formal end of our high school years. With it, I know that many of you are glad to finally end your months-long battles with senioritis. But knowing it may be the last time that we see many of our classmates or teachers and wear royal blue repping Plano West, it's also a little bittersweet. So let's make sure to end that senioritis with a cure, give today as special a consideration as it deserves, and congratulate ourselves on being here. Before I continue, I want to thank the people who have played a pivotal role in my high school journey. Thank you to my family, Mom, Dad, and my sister Allison, for giving everything so that I could have every chance to succeed. I stand here today because of you. Thank you to our teachers, counselors, administrators, and all of our staff for going above and beyond to help us. Plano West is blessed to have you, and it is through your dedication and passion that our class has been shaped. Thank you as well to the PISD Board of Trustees and Superintendent Dr. Teresa Williams for your unwavering leadership and support of West as part of this 44,000 strong district. And thank you especially for the diplomas. Finally, big shout out to Roshan, the best debate buddy of all time, Smeeth, Arthur, Ayush, and all my other Skaggs OGs, and of course the Cards gang, Arush, Aman, Ray, Isaac, David, and Samuel, who have brought so much fun into my time at Plano West. Now, it's tempting to try to sum up the past 4 years right now, but that would be, as my lit teacher, Mrs. Gomez, always tells me, just plot summary and not commentary. It would also inevitably fail to capture this beautiful range of experiences we've had and probably take me way longer than I'm allowed. So I'll try my best to provide a real commentary on our time here. In many ways, we're so fortunate to have gone to Plano West. Yeah, it's definitely hard to say, I love this school when there's AMSAT annotations due, or the parking lot is filled because you arrived 2 minutes later than usual, or physics true-false is the next day. Thank you, by the way, Mr. Carroll. But these challenging, maybe even uncomfortable experiences have taught us things I know we'll be grateful for. For one, we've learned how to become experts at functioning on 5 hours of sleep and getting through the day knowing that the bathroom in B building is always closed when we are in the deepest of emergencies. Perhaps more importantly, we have learned through tackling crazy classes, resolving class disputes, and winning our first HOCO game in years, how to keep going even when there seems to be no way ahead. We have survived weeks of borderline chaos and watched ourselves grow up over the years to become adults, hopefully the mature ones. We've also thrived in a school with an unbelievable diversity of backgrounds, perspectives, and thought. Do not take our massive class size of 1,200 for granted. At Plano West, hearing 3 languages in the hallway at once isn't even unusual. Your conversations with other human beings here are some of your most priceless takeaways, even if they never show up on your transcript in the future. Speaking of the future, I'll admit that as someone who can't even legally drive more than 1 passenger yet, I can't really say much about what our lives will look like once we graduate. Some of that is because the future is, now more than ever before, inherently uncertain. Generational upheavals, obviously in AI, but also politics, society, the arts, and more, are happening and will happen for the rest of our lives. In the same way that someone in 1976 could never have predicted the convenience of door dashing or the frustration of Chromebook connectivity issues, we have genuinely no idea what 2076 will look like. For many of us, the careers that we'll have don't even exist yet. And I know that sounds scary, but it's also pretty exciting because this is uncharted territory that lies ahead. And it's ripe with the opportunity for progress if we are just willing to reach out and harvest it. So don't be afraid to tackle the unknown. Follow it. Embrace it. Stay in the room a little longer. Class of 2026, step into your future as humanity's next great creators, innovators, leaders, and visionaries. I can't wait to see what you do. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Ryan. Our next speaker is Alex Tran, Plano West Senior Class President, a member of the Plano West Band, and goalkeeper for the Plano West men's varsity soccer team.
Good evening, Wolfpack seniors and guests. My name is Alex Tran, and I am the Senior Class President for Plano West Class of 2026 that you see before you. I'd like to give a big thanks to our Principal, Ms. Lee, Plano ISD's Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Teresa Williams, all my coaches, teachers, directors, family members, and most of all, I want to thank the entire class of 2026. For the past 3 years, you have chosen me to represent you as a class, and I cannot thank you enough for your support. It has been an absolute honor to serve you as your class president for the past 3 years, and I hope to leave you with words of encouragement for your future endeavors. I'd like to start this speech off by sharing with you one of my favorite quotes. This was said by Alexander the Great, and it goes like this: "There is nothing impossible to the one who will try." Now, I tell you this quote because my goal tonight is to try to leave you with one piece of advice. And hopefully, to give you that advice, it isn't impossible. To dive deeper, I want you to understand the true meaning of the quote. It claims that potential is not always rewarded, but rather the act of trying your hardest is what gets you those results that may have seemed rather impossible. Over the past several years, each and every one of you has tried your hardest to make it here tonight. And this night, along with all of your accomplishments, are a testament to your hard work. And to that, I congratulate you. Now, even though our high school days are over and you don't get second chances, the closest thing that you can get to that second chance is what we're all about to enter: the next stage of our lives. Whether it's college or something else, we're all taking a step into something that's new. And I hope that in whatever each of you do, you try. Try everything. Try as many things as you possibly can. It can be as small as changing your coffee order at Starbucks, or you could try skydiving, or even in the future, try a whole different career path. Because trying a multitude of these opportunities can teach us more about ourselves and our abilities than any school or lecture or book ever could. My parents always taught me to try different things in life. When I was younger, I never fully understood that philosophy.
But as I got older, it became clear that trying is the one thing that truly propels you forward. Trying is the engine behind growth. It's what pushes you to try new foods or see new cultures, see new places, and meet new people. Some things you try once and move on from. Others deserve persistence throughout your life. But without trying, there is no growth. Growing up alongside all of you, I realize now that if we had never tried what we did when we were younger, we wouldn't be the same people. It would be a completely different class of 2026. But from my experience, I know that those of you, for example, might have tried playing soccer one day when you were younger and ended up on the first soccer team to bring this school to the state semifinals in over a decade. Or maybe you're someone who tried picking up an instrument when you were younger and never felt like putting it down. Or maybe you became interested in planning events for the school and tried your hand at it. These are some of the things that I have tried over the past couple of years, and I cannot be thankful enough for the opportunity. But no matter what you tried throughout these past 4 years, the possibility your future holds is endless. So after tonight, through college, and for the rest of your life, I want you to try as much as you can. Because once it's all said and done, and we become too old to try new things, my hope for you is that you can look back on all the things that you tried and be proud. And so the advice, if it wasn't clear already, that I leave to you, class of 2026, is wherever you go and whatever you do, try, try, try. Because I know that if each and every one of you continue to try, your success will only become a matter of time.
Thank you, Alex. Our final student speaker is Jade Mitkus, Plano West Student Council President.
Standing here today, I'm filled with excitement, gratitude, and honestly disbelief. This moment that felt so distant is finally here. Today, we walk the stage. And if there's one question I want to leave you with on this historic day, before we embark on the rest of our lives, it would be this. What would you do if you knew you could never fail? Good evening, Principal Lee, faculty, friends, families, and most importantly, the Plano West graduating class of 2026. I want to begin by expressing my gratitude for our superintendent, Dr. Teresa Williams, and our PISD Board of Trustees. I've had the delight of collaborating with these individuals the past 2 years, and I've seen firsthand their passion for nurturing our education. And now, we all have the opportunity to celebrate our academic accomplishments as Plano West graduates. My name is Jade Mitkus, and I've had the pleasure of being your student council president this past year. And as my final act, I'd like to spend the next few minutes together pondering this question. What would you do? I'm not asking what you should do or what you're expected to do, but what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Because the truth is, most of us play it safe. We don't go through life trying to win. Instead, we are trying not to lose. We hesitate, we second guess, and we constantly question ourselves, picking the easier route because it's not worth the risk. Graduates, stop holding yourself back when the only thing standing between you and your dreams is fear. Fear that the obstacles will win, fear that you'll embarrass yourself, or fear that you'll fail. Somewhere along the way, we've put it in our heads that failure is unacceptable, but it's not. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. Instead, it's part of it. Every setback and rejection isn't proof that you're not capable, it's proof that you're trying. Someone who cares deeply enough to try something over and over again despite the setbacks is much more admirable than someone who succeeds on the first try at something they have no passion for. Class of 2026, we are stepping into a world that will change us, push us, and oftentimes knock us down. But it's also a world full of opportunities. So I challenge you, don't shrink into what feels safe. Go beyond the expectations. Be the one who believes they are capable of more because you are. Don't live in complacency. You could spend the rest of your life doing exactly what's expected of you and nothing more. Never making the leap, taking the risk, or fulfilling the passions that have been sitting on your heart. Instead, let us define our own capabilities, pushing to discover all of our possibilities. Our willingness to fight through the struggles is dependent on two things. The first is the way we think of ourselves. Your confidence will build when you finally start to believe in your abilities. An I can't attitude will convince you that you are weaker than your struggles, blocking your capacity to push through the setbacks. Manifest with intention and go into every challenge with a belief you will make it out stronger. The second piece is influenced by the people we surround ourselves with. Fill your heart with joy because you intentionally foster connections with others who contribute to your daily happiness, who support you through your hardships, and who celebrate all of your victories. Some of us found those people already, and a lot of us will find those people in the places we're headed next. You have this freedom to surround yourself with the people who make you feel brave enough to go after your dreams. But more importantly, don't forget to be that person for the people you care about. Speaking of supportive relationships, I want to thank all of the parents here who have granted the space for their students to grow into their independent selves. Thank you to my parents for pushing me to do everything I felt a passion towards and for loving me unconditionally. From dropping me off at my first day of kindergarten to celebrating my high school graduation, they've always given me the confidence to believe I was capable of anything. Thank you to all of the siblings who have taught many of us here how to love and care. A big thank you to my sister Sienna, who I've grown up with for the past 16 years. And in my relationship with her, I've learned how to share, compromise, but more importantly, how to be a true and genuine best friend. Plano West class of 2026, this is just the beginning. And honestly, I'm terrified. But my growing excitement combats this fear when I remember how much potential for greatness is ahead. We can do whatever we want. Be a film director, a professional athlete, a food critic in Italy. There is so much for us to discover that we can't even fathom yet. Isn't it exciting? Don't let your fear of failure or discomfort stop you from going after what you want. Even if you have to ditch the plan that you believe will lead you to quote unquote success, don't do it if you don't love it. You still have the time to figure out what you want to do. So go out and explore. Spend your time discovering the possibilities, not trying to fill this expectation you or someone else has for you. Class of 2026, let's feel brave enough to achieve our greatness. As I close out my speech, I want to bring your attention back for this final moment. What's the first thing that comes to mind when I ask, what would you do if you knew you can never fail? I encourage you to do just that. Congratulations, fellow graduates, and thank you.
Thank you, Jade. Before conferring the degrees, I want to thank all the members of the Plano West faculty and staff who are here this evening to celebrate with our graduates, who have supported them along the way and are helping to assist with graduation. In addition to our staff, another group of supporters we'd like to recognize are the families and friends who have stood alongside our graduates and are here supporting them today. Would all family members and friends of our graduates stand and be recognized? At this time, I would like to recognize our Plano West graduates who have achieved special recognition this year. Please stand and remain standing until all have been recognized. Will the cum laude honor graduates with a grade point average of 3.6 to 3.9 please stand and be recognized? Will the magna cum laude honor graduates with a grade point average of 4.0 to 4.2 please stand and be recognized? Will the summa cum laude honor graduates with a grade point average of 4.3 or higher? Please stand and be recognized. Will the 35 National Merit finalists and our 159 National Recognition Scholars please stand and be recognized? Will the top 10 highest ranking seniors please stand and be recognized? Will the students who advance to a regional, state, or national competition please stand and be recognized? We would also like to recognize any student who has chosen to enlist in the military. Will these students please stand and rise? We would also like to invite any active members or veterans of the military who are in attendance to stand and be recognized along with these students. Thank you all for your service. And now, we would like to invite all the members of the class of 2026, every one of you, to please stand and be recognized. You may be seated. This is an absolutely great view up here. It is my honor to stand before you tonight as principal of Plano West as we gather to celebrate this important milestone. Last Friday night, I sat in the audience as my great-nephew graduated from high school. As he walked across the stage to receive his diploma, I thought back to all the special moments we have shared. Holding him as a baby, lining up his Hot Wheel cars just the way you wanted to, riding four-wheelers in the woods on Sunday afternoons, and lots of holidays with endless games of Uno and other games with his sister, always making up new rules along the way. I imagine, seniors, that your parents and family members are looking back on similar moments now, thinking of those special times with you, while also feeling a little nervous about the day you'll leave for college, your first job, and everything that lies ahead. For you seniors, I know you are also reflecting on the moments that brought you here today and the connections that you have made with those graduating alongside you. When I look back on this year, there were so many moments that were special to me as principal, starting with an unbelievable football season for the Wolfpack that took our team to a whole new level. Standing on the field and experiencing the team, band, cheerleaders, drill team, JROTC, and everyone who made Friday night come alive. Or being in the audience for our Wolfpack Theater Company's performance of Six at the State Thespian Convention and seeing your theater peers from across the state cheer you on. Or maybe it was traveling to Harvard with the Plano West speech team and seeing firsthand the level of preparation and professionalism it takes to succeed at the national level. Being on the bus to state soccer semifinals and seeing a team play with grit, determination, and heart for the entire season. I wish I could list every single student, every team, and every organization and their successes this year, but we'd be here all night. Each one of you crossing the stage tonight has your own story of accomplishment that led you here. There is indeed something special about our Wolf Pack. I hope that tonight and in the coming days you will pay close attention to the moments you share with those close to you. Be intentional with the handshakes, the hugs, and the words of thanks to those who have supported you. Take time with your family. Take the extra pictures with your grandparents. Talk to your aunt and uncle and answer questions you've been asked over and over again about where are you going to school and what are you going to do in the future. Savor those times. That is what people will remember. And most importantly, remember that once you are part of the Wolf Pack, you are always part of the Wolf Pack. Plano ISD Board of Trustees, Superintendent Williams, and members of the Cabinet, ladies and gentlemen, as principal of Plano West Senior High, I am pleased to announce that the students seated before you have met all course requirements for high school graduation, as prescribed by the Plano Independent School District Board of Education and the Texas Education Agency. I now declare each graduate worthy of the high school diploma from Plano West Senior High. Students will be assisted onto the stage by our associate principals, Mrs. Raina Johnson, Associate Principal for Student Activities and Facilities, and Mrs. Stacy Flake, Associate Principal for Curriculum and Instruction. Leading their graduates to the stage and assisting them from the stage will be our 4 assistant principals, Mr. Montrail Davis, Mrs. Jennifer Gomez, Ms. Valerie Reed, and Ms. Shannon Robinson. Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Flake, would you come forward to assist the graduates to the stage? And Mr. Baca and Mr. Jacob, would you come to the foot of the steps to congratulate our graduates after they receive their diplomas? At this time, I'd like to ask for the first and second row of graduates to please rise and come forward to receive your diplomas.
Yara Hader Rod Al Samaray. William David Barna.
Jonathan Chinjan Ding.
Ahmad Wahid. Elizabeth N. Huckabee. Juan Jiexuan Lee. Julian Alexander Baskin. Nathan Thomas Menangi. Andrew Valentino Sosa Techera. Ryan Jiahao Shu. Caitlin Ju Fan. Alex Jacob Tran. Jade Madison Mityas. Lakshitha Ahuja. Eric Jong Ray Wang. Eric Luke Chien. Chi-Ting Zhou. Aditya Suran. Samuel So. Rehan Hussein Bavaji. Yusuf Urman Abbasi. Galia Stephanie Abadi. Ibrahim Riaz Abdul Majid. Layul Abel. Ethan Bartel Abraham Jr. Serenity Rose Abshir. Mutaz Abu Tabik. Anjali Achin Kunya. Neil Garisha Acharya. Abiola Habib Adekunle. Olutobi Samuel Angilalua Adeoye. Akshita Adepu. Deepti Adiam Raghavendran. Anant Agrawal. Oluwadamilola Ekundayo Afial. Luciana Aguirre Soto. Tony Agomo. Sayadomar Yunus Ahmed. Annette Aguilar. Blaine Robert Onaman. Nur Alia Binti Ahmad Muzaffar. Adia Ajay. Tahia Raya Ahmed. Asia Aziza Akbar. Ala Depupo Michael Aguilar. Brandon Emra Akon. Parnia Varnas Fadarani Akavon. Ahmad Muhammad Yusuf Alasmir. Samida Alampuri. Amalie Anise Alexander. Anisa Alavi. Mohammed Ali Zaza. Clarissa Isabel Alfonso. Emma Lillian Allen. Jalen Christopher Allen. Felicity Page Allison. Rama Nazar Alced. Hector Alvarez Suarez. Yara Tariq Al-Wakil. Rita Rahman Amatul. Arham Ahmed, Ashida Jutin Amin, Ayala Al-Hadi Ahmed Yali, Starla Giselle Isabella Anderson, Kilamu Amani Amendi, Disha Anumolu, Sahil Jutin Amin, Yelith Valentina Barbosa Alvarez, Ainel Ismar Andino Diaz, Gino Ezekiel Barajas, Ayush Apan, Ahanaf Arif, Jasmine Isabella Arceo, Divya Arun Kumar, Sarah Sofia Arias Gonzalez, Brittany Sol Astivuman Alva, Peyton Clyde Armstrong, Mariah Leanne Atkins, Sanad Hakam Assad, Sandro Atura, Rebecca Grace Atley, Adam Suror Akash, Andres Alberto Avila Martinez, Advaita Shri Ayuluri, Saba Ayesh, Amanda Chloe Azule, Rania Farah Aziza, Caitlin Christy Bader, Kirill Kostiantinovich Bobin, Aman Bahel, Afan Badal, Samantha Orizaga Baker, Luri Suzit Bayamondes Hervias, Vedant Bakshi, Brad Bai, Sayuki Bon, Shane Robert Baker, Elise Mijen Bang, Laika Jakaria Balangat, Haik Pavel Barsegian, Sanjitha Bundy, Jalen Joanne Bateman, Sidine Adam Baragati, Samantha Malindi Buku, Ethan Charles Baranowski, Bella Erin Bedford, Ishan Anilkumar Barot, Kirsten Grace Lego Bellarmino, Werner Reeve Bauer, Sydney N. Bell, Alexander Kyle Becker, Brenda Karen Beltran, Isabella Mary B. Joy, Messiah L. Benreal, Kirsten Nchin Bell, Isabella Barrio Aguilera, Narain Bellari, Anika Bhushan, Nayara Sophia Bendro, Reagan Milan Bishop, Mariangel Lucia Bermudez Avila, Lauren Olivia Blanco, Sophia Marie Bio, Bethany Kathleen Blue, Yash Kamal Bhatia, Sanvi Sarang Bobde, Ariane Biswas, Adriana Marie Bolden, Haley Marie Blanks, Ryan Samuel Bull, Ezra Antonio Boaz, Riley Grace Bonifacio, Jaden Alexander Bole, Samuel Tristan Boudet, Andrea Michelle Bolden, Blair Allison Bowers, John V. Bonham, Alasia Renee Bradshaw, Mia Marie Borve, Diego Alejandro Bracho Ortega, Isaiah John Bout, Faith Maria Branch, Andrea Cristina Bozo Gonzalez, Emma Christine Bratcher, Taven Lucas Bradford, Morgan Athena Brewer, Justice Grant Brady, Davian Howard Bright, Miracle Darnell Branch, Adeline Michelle Brown, Maria Fernanda Bravo Reyes, Julia Christine Brown, Devon Thea Bridges, Sutton O'Connor Brown, Nicholas Briones Galaviz, Nicholas Heath Bryant, Amara Michelle Brown, Nathan Daniel Burico, Rhea Lachey Brown, Micah Taubaibi, Michael Dana Bryant, Alondra Camacho, Marley Claire Buchalter, Nicole Isabel Camargo Cardozo, Alexis May Burns, Angelina Chow, Matthew Adolfo Cabrera Singh, Anaka Lisette Curette, Sarada Kamara, Delilah Gabriela Carrillo, Maria Paula Camargo Navarro, Dorle Karina Casadiego Loaiza, Caden Dwayne Carter, Luke Zayden Casey, Isabella Casas, Chanel Castrovalle, Sebastian Jesus Castillo Madrid, Felix Armando Cedino Rodriguez, Keller James Kalk, Jimenez Cerda, Francesca Sofia Centeno Benavides, Crystal Chan, Himunk Chedda, Tiffany Wanyan Chan, Garen Michael Chan, Ryan Chang, Ray Rue Chang, Kenneth Michael Chapman III, Cecilia Alejandra Chaparro Rodriguez, Gabriel Sebastian Chavez Pinto, Lucas Gabriel Chaveria, Andrea Chen, Graciana Denise Chavez, Cowan Chen, Kenneth Lee Chekon, Xingnei Chen, Chongli Chen, Sophia Yifu Chen, Isaac Hao Chen, Anika Chirukuri, Sophia Grace Chen, Alexander Jingjie Chung, Timothy Sean Chen, Jones Henry Church, Faith Cheritic, Maya Imani Clark, Sharvisri Chetty, Claire Emily Cockrell, Sophia Valentina Chirinos Ruiz, James Christopher Collins, Marcellus Nkutat Chuba, Brendan Edward Commender, Jordan Jonelle Clark, Kaya Rain Conroy, Catherine Elizabeth Cockrell, Peyton Avery Cook, Emma Grace Coleman, Gavin Noah Cooper, Kaylin and Combs, Sean Nathaniel Thomas Cooper, Charles Michael Joseph Conroy, Richard Alejandro Correa Marquez, Lillian Rosetta Conroy, Rosanice de Los Angeles, Coria Gonzalez, Hayden Camille Cook, Taku Yamaji Colston, Jaden Lane Cooper, Josek Isaac Cruz Uribe, Misael Correa, Ava Tree, Santiago Andres Corredor Torres, Itai Itzhak Dei, Jacob Riley Cortez, Guilherme Dal Aqua Saugas, Emerson Dean Cowart Hunter, Minimo Dank, Abigail Alicia Cuellar, Hassan Mehdi Daruwala, Joshua Mewa Dada, Ashna Das, Rongbai Dai, Amrutha Desari, Brandon Alexander Daly, Ivan Gabriel Davidov, Christian Graham Darko, Madison Kai Davis, Shad Darwesh, Benjamin Jeremiah Dawson, Ishan Saniel Das, Jasmine Marai Dean, Niyati Dave, Araceli Odelia Del Castillo, Andre Davis, Trisha Omangu Kumar Desai, Sydney Morgan Davis, Ebenezer Desta, Madison Abriana de la Torre, Catherine Laney Diaz, Matthew Dean DeBarros, Jackson McDowell Devine, Sharvi Amoth Deshpande, Camille Mary Dobrient, Ipsita Davala, Zlata Andreevna Dolgaya, Noah Donji, Cole Andrew Dombrowski, Gregory Bevan Deep, Claire Chin Dong, Wilson William Japp, Madison Jaden Dunham, Alireza Dodonge, Sudiksha Ishwaran, Alyssa Maria Dolman, Emma Catherine Edwards, Jonathan Emmanuel Donahue, Shakira Fatima Rasul Effendi, Emily Haocheng Dong, Ali Reza Elahi, Benjamin Ammon Dossett, Logan Manning Ellefson, Alejandro Duarte Torres, Lucas Andrew Erickson. Somonu Ram Erna. Miley Mackenzie Espinoza. Charlotte Nicole Eckroat. Eric Esquivel. Joseph Michael Edwards. Diana Latasha Everfield. Angel Ekwarakwu. Aman Ahmed Fahim. Arjun Elongo. Dana Falcone Baca. Austin Charles Ely. Mari Laura Faria. Ali Rebecca Erling. Mitchell Kirk Farrell. Liliana Espinoza. Amina Farshori. Ethan Mateo Esquivel. Emily N. Federico. Eli Joseph Azurzer. Rowe Fung. Cooper Riley Falcon. Claronze D'Allen Deshay Fields. Ethan Zishuan Fan. Maurice Jackson Lee Fields. Sadid Ahmed Faruqi. Isabella Renee Figueroa Corona. Soran Mondani Faraknia. Grabielis Janitis Elena Flores Gonzalez. Isabel Lee Favors. Selah Christia Flowers. Fayez Ferdos. McKenna Patricia Fowler. Kim de la Cruz Ferrer. Calvin Forrest Gage. Jordan Timquavius Fields. Laura Gallego. Norilis Hiroshima Figueroa Gutierrez. Jonas Efren Galvin. Gavin Ty Fisher. Vicente Alejandro Gomez Bravo. Nathaniel Fitzgerald Flores. Jylan Gao. Cadence Linus Foster Pickens. Brianna Sofia Garcia Loero. Sergio David Fuenmayer Faria. Abigail Kate Garnett. Aryehi Garola. Malcolm Bobby Jean Gary. Herman Adamar Galdamez Reynosa. Neil Michael Gavner. Nicole Galvin Arcos. Brian Scott Gayford. Gabriel Jose Gamara Torres. Renee Celine Garcia. Kaushal M. Gonapur. Belisha G. Varghese. Santiago Gabriel Garcia Gutierrez. Ava Catherine Jenden. Haley Marie Garcia. William Thomas Gerard. Diego Aiden Garcia Palacios. Fadi Allah Ghanem. Aiden David Garrido. Judah Tower DeWeese. Charles Joseph Gavner. Ava Victoria Gillespie. Josiris Jakari Jeremica Gay. Yash Giryapura the 8th. Skylar Armando Gayford, Drayden Xavier Gist, Ray Angeli Gelasio, Nikhil Atul Godbole, Nora Ellen George, Jaime Gomez Romero, Sahib Singh Gai, Carlos Ivan Gonzalez Rodriguez, Tia Aisha Gilbert, Colin Matthew Goodlin, Jadon Lakendrick Gillespie, Samuel Esteban Gordillo Galvez, Melinda Chloe Geron Miranda, Michael Duke Gosley, Abigail Wambui Gatenji, Michaela and Lynn Graham, Avram Gogan, Annalie Susanna Granados Gutierrez, Maria Teresa Gomez Rodriguez, Jordan Miller Grant, Yiwen Gong, Holly Fitzgerald Greb, Daphne Carolina Gonzalez, Vanessa Ginto, Anastasia Leona Goral, Hannah Guo, Micah Caden Gossadime, Ansel Troy Gutierrez, Charles Evan Graham, Ahmet Subas, Riley Greta Graham, Simone Nuruddin Sonawala, Caroline Ann Brewster Grain, Rishabh Singh, Gavin Eugene Gross, Dylan Tai Ha, Camila Guillen Martinez, Yash Gupta, Sanvi Gandala, Timur Haji Dedich, Daniel Guo, Serbi Halbe, Inesh Gupta, Promise Grace Hale, Isabella Sofia Gutierrez Gamara, Jackson Edward Hall, Alondra Gutierrez Vasquez, Isabella Mira Hamilton, Daniel Josue Guzman, Noah Sasha Hansen, Mark Andrew Hackett Chavaria, Mashawn Dante Hargrove, Ardalan Ryan Hakimi, Braden Devin Harris, Anvita Halpavi, Hannah Noor Hassan, Army Lee Hall, Ronan Alexander Hansberger, Hayden Tanner Hallman, Michael David Hazen Cohen, Sujana Hawk, Jordan Zah Raya Dallas Hebert, Lauren Elise Harp, Layla Grace Hines, Randy Jayla Harrison, Anaya Donye Henderson, Alexandra Grace Hatrup, Austin Henning, Cameron Mackenzie House, Doreen Rose Haravi, Emmanuel Corwin Heyman Flowers, Stephanie Sophia Herrera Ricagno, Alexander Nathan Hausen Cohen, Sydney Michaela Hightower, Sachung Ha, Amani Moses Hodge, Harrison Jude Heck, Kaysen Kent Hodges, Meredith Grace Hale, Faith Sai Jin Ho, Karin Kaylee Hendricks, Madison Lee Holland, Fernanda Valentina Hernandez Artega, Jermaine Quantes Holloway Jr., Osbady Jimena Hernandez Solis, Max Francis Holtman, Tony Ethan Hernandez, Kennedy Nicole Hopkins, Quincy Cooper Hicks, Tyler Rel Howard, Rami Daniel Hijazi, Sasha Tatiana Woman, Will-I Eden Renee Hodge, Vivian Wong, Mia Alexandra Hofer, Aaron Justin Hunt, Melody Yu Yen Ha, Jacob Dan Hoon, Major Keith Holloman, Johanneris Jimena Iglesia Vilches, Luke Allen Hollingsworth, Jordan Chibuna Igwe, Cole Tonawin Honkeo, Shanze Ruxana Irshad, Shiha Hossein, Evan Norman Israel, Logan Scott Howerton, Aditya Shrikanta Iyer, Margaret Hannah Huddleston, Jessica Paola Izagire Carranza, Lucas Stephen Hull, Catherine Jane Jacobson, Fahzan Hussein, Tucker Dwayne James, Juan Pablo Ibarra Paradas, Allison Paola Joramillo, Jaden Uchina Igwe, Marcela Alejandra Harkin Fuentes, Madeline Chuanliang Irick, Zachary Johnny Jang, Dowa Ishik, Abby Jaden Jennings, Manasa Varudarajan Iyer, Hayden Brooke Jimenez, Dana Paula Jacobo, Harshika Ritesh Jinger, Iman Jama, Landry Elise Johnston, Anish Pulkeshi Jappi, Gavin Kenneth Jones, Ryan Shabir Javed, Xavier Tayshawn Jones, Ryan Elizabeth Jenkins, Kaustubhi Kashinath Joshi, Catherine Adele Jennings, Nabiha Junaidi, Lou Jean, Rithu Rajiv Kaimol, Xavier Mikel James Johnson, Audrey Josephine Kaliba, Olivia Marie Johnston, Ritvik Reddy Callum, Sydney Nicole Jones, Misha Kandukuri, Anauvi Joshi, Paul Michael Kansabedian, Darby May Joyner, Tarini Kanyaboyina, Tidala Danielle Cachete, Neha Karaketi, Kanta Kakazaki, Kavyashri A. Karnamu, Brennan Lorne Nicholas Khalil, Abhinav Karthik, Ayman Muhammad Kamal, Sanvi Kotda Ray, Elliot Kanchiza Kanongesha, Ahmad Hasnan Kazmi, Obina Solomon Kanu, Preston Hinson Kennedy, Callista Rose Cow, Emily Page Kent, Ria Karandikar, Alina Raza Khan, Viren Modleaderin Kartha, Shuhan Ahmed Khan, Nandini Karthik, Ashton Jusen Kim, Madhav Kaushik, June Reese Kim, Sasha Camille Keepers, Samantha Mumbi Kimotho, Megan Elizabeth Kenny, Ayana Shuri King, Matthew Thomas Kent, Peyton Anne-Marie King, Elijah Amir Khan, Thomas Ryan Kirk, Muhammad Hassan Khan, Ashlyn Elaine Klaus, Siona Kara, Anisha Kohak, Kyle Mutuakilu, Akul Deo Kulhakur, Hannah and Kim, Kyla Dawn Kuntz, Se Min Kim, Amir Khosra Kezliviznani, Emmanuel Emri Sifa Kinda, Ori Hannah Krakovsky, Arush Kiran, Olivia Victoria Erin Croyer Brown, Nitin Kishore, Alexander Jason Kuksov, Ronan Michael Knox, Piyush Kumar, Carson William Kolb, Arya Vijay Katuva, Manvi Kangara, Reese Daniel Jean Suk Labrod, Amelia Jane Krajmalnik, Puneet Pritesh Lakatia, Matthew Johan Kronberg, Emma Nicole Lampert, Olivia Sarah Kubel, Addison Kate Landry, Jude Hudson Kumar, Lam Y. Lau, Vithashari U. Kuparangi, Brandon Austin Lawrence, Darian Chase Kwan, Jason Van Lay, Ariana Lakani, Hannah Isabella Ledesma, Juliette Louise Lecloufie, Eileen Lee, Brian Lawn, Jenna Ivy Lee, Riley N. Lawson, Fabian Adolfo Leo Medina, Holden Theodore Landry, Miguel Andres Leon Rivero, Kate Victoria Lara, Audrey S. Lertdelock, Angel Romulo Leal, Finley James Lewis, Tiffany Ledesma, Anya Ju Yenli, Caleb Yilang Lee, Jeffrey Lin, Landry L. Leonert, Brittany Janet Linares Villafuerte, Carlos Eduardo Leon Gonzalez, Gustavo Enrique Lisboa Fuentes, Alexander Ty Leon, Henry Liu, Canon Miles Leverett, John Landrum Loftus V, Rain Ruby Lewis, Brady Stephen Long, Louis Gordong Lim, Diana Lopez Gonzalez, Lucas Lin, Julia Cristina Lopez, Michael Linson Vadali, Andres Eduardo Lavera, David Jishin Liu, Camila Victoria Lugo Abreu, Sean Sat Lu, Felix Humberto Lugo Vega, Isabella Lopez Cordova, Braden Corey Luster, Eric Andres Lopez, Ana Sofia Luzardo Borregos, Abigail Elizabeth Lotz, Cameron Deshawn Lyons, Jeremiah Jerome Lowe, Travis Ma, Carlos Aurelio Lugo, Santiago David Machado, Lucy Rebecca Luke, Morgan Elizon Madison, Kalina Maria Lutz, Hannah Elizabeth Mathiol Severine, Conwook Lee, Kareem Hisham Majid, Stephen Jimmy Ma, Manya Maheshwari, Gabriela Alejandra Machado Valencia, Giusiangelo Miguel Maeda Bianco, Micah Sweatmack, Parajat Majumdar, Jedediah Majaforo, Caleb Tawanda Alex Makukutu, Carmen Hisham Majid, Camila and Malecha, Nitin Mahadevan, Swapanthi Malajasayala, Shreyansh Maheshwari, Karthik Mongol, Genesis Serafina Major, Jeremiah Monji, Sai Shreyas Makarla, Cyrus Murphy Mantasut, Dasha Milani, Danielle Castillo Marantal, Chandler Monty Peace Mulimban, Sanaya Rochelle Marco, Daria Malik, Shinelle de Los Angeles Maureen Garcia, Rose Mani. Neil Pranav Maripulapu. Dev Mansinka. Arian Jade Martinez. Eleanor Chenwei Mans. Faizan Masroor. Mridula Niranjan Marathe. Summer Danielle Matadi. Arian Joshua Marcani. Isabella Adriana Matthews Franklin. Marcus Darrell Marion Jr. Dmari Chiron Maxville. Natalie Martin. Ava Ann Christine Mays. Lucia Gabriela Martinez Urdaneta. Hayden Jamir Mays. Ashley Trinity Martinez. Peyton Wayne McAllister. Sahar Bibi Masood. Jeremy Deshaun McGee Jr. Raimundo Matos Pagan. Ian Samuel McManaman. Ferris Samir Mavrakis. Shane Maxon McQuaid. Juan Pablo May Moralrio. Cameron Jade Meehan. Garrett Thomas Mays. Om Mearotra. Arian Michelle McAbee-Hickey. Rahul Amit Mehta. Colin James McClure. Rebecca Carolina Malian Torres. Evan James McNary. Ulysses Aaron Mendez. Daniela Montserrat Medina Rojo. Victor Eduardo Mendoza Rodriguez. Arjun Singh Mehta. Andrew Keith Merfield. Maria Victoria Mejia Arojo. Thomas Donato Messina. Lorena Alessandra Meloni Blanco. Vishali Mikilaneni. Angel Felipe Mendez Casanova. Daniel Yale Miranda. Sebastian Josue Mendez. Franco Mliner. Denise Sally Mendoza. Elena Sofia Mock. Gregory Enrique Marino. Kareen Nadi Mohammed. Asil Mia. Cameron David Molina. Caleb Christian Mills. Mahir Hawk Mondol. David Emmanuel Miralrio. Maya Vivian Montemayor. Mackenzie Jade Mize. Ashlyn Elizabeth Moore. Ariba Zoha Mobeen. Joshua Matthew Moore. Arian Jimmy Modi. Anna Virginia Moran Villalobos. Rataj Nadi Mohammed. Miguel David Moret Vivas. Joseph Daniel Molina. Honoka Morita. David Roberto Monsalvo Sanchez. Leighton N. Morris. Daniela Del Rosario Montero Sanchez. Carlina Shea Mortallero. Emma Alice Moore. Ryan Lee Moses. Antonietta Victoria Mora Moreno. Mani Mostagian. Mia Nicole Moran. Jaylin C. Numuwa. Anna Esther Murillo Kalina. Emily Mu. Noah Alexander Morones. Miguel Alejandro Munoz Gutierrez. Roman Rockwell Morrison. Evan Anthony Munsami. Dylan James Moss. Sudiksha K. Muthu. Dhruv Motika. Meenakshi Nadesan. Aisha Moody. Dai Nakagawa. Mathulika Malanji. Naina Nanda. Helen Munoz Diaz. Azan Haider Nakvi. Sachin Shadakshara Ruhi J. Narayan. Kavya Nachiapan. Nicole Estefania Navarro Trejos. Christian Ray Nahara. Samuel David Nevada Palm. Alisa Nakamura. Nisha Shailesh Nagandi. Kiran Nandita Nanda Kuma. Aaron William Nelson. Sira Nasir. Don Vung Nguyen. Duviana Paula Navarro. Lana Leen Nguyen. Vinny Neeraj Nayak. Swaraj Prafula Nibunde. Amy Chow Nguyen. Sean Alexander Noe. Eliza Wynn. Natalie Chinyere Wasway. Swan Hai Nguyen. Christian Hyun Ogata. Maya Genevieve Nieto. Nathaniel David Ohayon. Aspen Joy Northcutt. Tochukwu David Ojukwu. Jose Andres Ocampo Ordaneta. Shervin Olapur. Zeus Ochoa Coronado. Wally Idris Olympia. Elizabeth Susie O. Madeline Juliet Ong. Jeremy Javier Ojeda Mejias. Jayla Rose Ortega. Faiza Adedoyin Olajide. John Joseph Ostrowski III. Emily N. O'Neill. Joseph Michael Owens. Karen Yair Thorosco Cuello. Michaela and Paget. Gabrielle Senaya Ortega. Srinjoy Pal. Ava Brooklyn Scout Osborne. Sanjna Kiran Pandya. Isaiah Gerard Oten. Lexi Sophia Papp. Joshua Nathan Paddock. Jacob Sheehan Park. Vedanth Karkal Pai. Siohan Park. Anais Fabiana Palmer Rodriguez. Dorsa Perviz. Bowen Pang. Eric Pastines. Yossi Ni Popo. Daya Chetan Patel, Jasleen Paredes, Ved Hiranbai Patel, Kyle Jun Young Park, Sanvi Tushar Pathwarden, Shayan Parwani, Guillerme Kufari Pavaun, Devon Soren Patel, Oliani Carolina Peña Vilches, Jenel Ramesh Patel, Alexander Vincent Perdomo, Jasmine Sarah Pauken, Juan Jose Perez, Elias David Paz Rodriguez, Tanya Perez Medina, Shilai Peng, William Reed Peters, Abraham Antonio Perez Velarde, Hillary Thinkum Famtran, K. Liana Jade Perez, Braylon Phelps, Britton Dwayne Perkins, Raul Pineda Sepulveda, Brandon Evan Petzel, Adrian William Peter Pichalescu, Tegan Brielle Pinzone, Reese Ryan Perner, Gabrielle Chuntuian Fan, Andrew Jacob Pollock, Nicole Leah Plyaco, Nathaniel Howard Pothier, Ananya Pogaku, Saranya Prathapati, Ethan Lucas Pollard, Travis Earl Price, Abdul Samad Popal, Monterize Lamont Prince, Chance Marley Power, Rithvik Pudati, Meghana Praveen Reddy, Spencer Keith Putt, Yetzamar Paula Preto Romero, Benjamin Zhao Chu, Oriana Isabella Puente Linares, Zaki Karyab, Afan Ibrahim Panjoni, Madison Marie Casada, Matthews Wiedekin Quiroga, Esther Asia Rakinskaya, Eileen Bridgeth Quatean Fandino, Juan Carlos Simon Ramirez Pele, Geethika Rajesh, Daniela Fernanda Ramos, Jagdish Ramesh, Ben Rashdi, Aryan Ramkumar, Shai Rashdi, Shriadida Rao, Armin Rasif, Daniela Rashdi, Timothy Wade Ray III, Humna Rashid, Nabiha Razi, Manvi Rawat, Mauricio Enrique Racinos, Ford Thomas Raymond, Dia Juggernaut Reddy, Brooke Reisner, Arnav Narayan Rentala, Mallory Marie Red, Rosemary Chickencara Reverol Vargas, Dante Deshawn Reese II, Sophia Valentina Reyes Romero, Rebecca Paula Rechles, Ezekiel Alvarado Reyes, Evis Lady Carolina Reyes Carmona, Braylon Nevea Richardson, Catherine Paula Reyes, Chanel Ray Richardson, Angel Ribollet, Lauren Elizabeth Rigdon, Ethan Logan Richardson, Jose Miguel Rincon Gonzalez, Michaela May Aloha Ricard, Danny Nathan Rios, Valeria Lucia Rincon Aguirre, Andres Leonardo Roa Becerra, Luciana Paula Rincon Finol, Sebastian David Rincon Carmona, Maria Isabella Rincon Perez, Jane Margaret Roberts, Edwin Enrique Rieves, Parker and Roby, Joseph Michael Robel, Diego Yazid Robledo, Sela Jade Roberts, Camila Rocha, Simbriel Lyshan Robinson, Camilla N. Rogers, Angel Enrique Rocha, Lucia Isabel Rojas Nava, Diogo Perez Rodriguez, Victoria Sofia Romero Martinez, Samantha Alejandra Rojas Hernandez, Andrena Romero Sanchez, Rainier Alonso Rojas, Danielle Talia Rotman, Mariana Esther Romero Camarillo, Arav Rupesh, Andres Eduardo Romero Pereira, Drew Livia Riddle, Addison Claire Rosenthal, Romina Sadr Nabavi, Joan Hidalgo Rojano Contreras, Advaith Sajin, Christopher James Russell, Tanaka Denise Sakapwanya, Ariana K. Sade, Carliani Estefania Salas Betancourt, Chihaya Saito, Sofia Valentina Salazar Gutierrez, Shreya Sajun, Luis Eduardo Rodriguez Channon, Zaid Salahi Alice Bahi, Reem Mohsen Salim, Sadie Sky Salas, Natalia Michelle Salisbury, Aline Salazar, Jaden Nicole Sample, Luke Andrew Salmon, Santiago Sanchez Romero, Ariana Antoinette Sanchez Cruz, Abby Kate Sanders, Emma Sophia Sanchez, Mia Sloan Sanders, Harmony Nicole Sanders,
Alexis Sabriel Arsenia Sainoy,
Ruth Sandkovsky, Yael Renee Serembach, Holden Isaac Sands, Emily I. Sasaki, Fayez N. Sardar, Ria Saxena, Elisheva Rivka Sarfati, Mary N. Shatner, Justice Nicole Sawyer, Addison K. Saipol, Ali Sadek Sayed, Kennedy Justice Scott, Kelly Sinai Scobie, Jacob Daniel Secker, Cassidy Brianna Scott, Dia Shri Sanathi Balaji, Duncan Alexander Seward, Dhruv Shah, Kathurval Selvam, Sohan Nimesh Shah, Dia Senthil Kumar, Lynn Shaheen Pasha Dagestani, Krish Ajay Shah, Arvind Kafaf Sharif Zaman, Kavya Pratik Shahane, Ria Destiny Shah, Jayla Camille Shane, Courtney Michelle Shelton, Quiva Mary Shave, Benjamin Tangshin, Ramona Ladiel Shah, Pavani Sharan, Aliza Mariam Sheikh, Chester Young Che Shu, Hannah Shamir, Theodore Kairueshi, Sanjana Garish Shenoy, Anna Caitlin Shiu, Sarah Caitlin Shetty, Roshan Anand Shivnani, Naveed Shibani, Maya Shoja Talab, Andrew Kennedy Shiu, Smorty Schreeder, Benjamin Isaac Schmuckler, Savannah Villa Shumate, Lila Elizabeth Shoulders, Kavya Shunmagam, Arthur Fu Shuffer, Ibrahim Ali Siddiqui, Prince Xavier Schumpert, Orlando David Semenkas Davalio, Alexandra Jolie Siegel, Nishant Bhushan Sinari, Anisha Lynn Sims, Jaswin Singh, Himat Singh, Diego Jose Cio Telies, Kavya Singh, Kai Jupiter Gregory Michael Smallwood, Hanaz Diovan Ciso, Amaya Smith, Dakota Elizabeth Smalley, Denise Lauren Smith, Aiden Riley Martin Smith, Merrick Thorson Smith, Ari Elizabeth Smith, Samuel James Smith, Jewel Alexandria Krista Smith, Luisa Borrego Soares, Narissa Cottrell Smith, Eniola Mona Lisa Solomon, Zachary Andrew Snodgrass, Lucas Souza Silva, Joshua Daniel Sun, Sophia Elizabeth Spanik, Zenny Song, Kellen David Standridge, Levon Vache Suvalian, Chloe Addison Steenerson, Xavier Kwamir St. Cyr, Devin Jamel Stewart Woods, Amari Jamil Starling, Kyler Marissa Story, Brandon Kai Stevens, Asher Bach Stoutmeyer, Seen Samir Stevens, Samprith Sujith, Peter Crawford Stewart, Olivia Bell Sullivan, Jake Ryan Stout, Harry Sun, Fabiana Alejandra Suarez Casanova, Nivedita Sunish, Rohan Subramaniam, Finn Patrick Romo Sunlin, Aliyu Suleiman, Margaret Elizabeth Sutherland, Nyla Summers, Dylan Anthony Swaylock, Shang Sun, Arslan Iqbal Syed, Aisha Siddiqa Sunez, Zaki Arnaz Syed, Koshik Susarla, Lois Yerongtam, Sora Suzuki, Taya Jordan Taylor, Peyton Mackenzie Swint, Alexander Jonathan Terra, Smeeth Talasila, Vihan Tajan Thakkor, John Hobbs Taylor, Sachin Tungamuthu, Abigail Dane Tika, Ratan Takaram Thatikonda, Moksh Thakur, Maya Lachey Thomas, Christian Kwoan Tom, Audrey Sophia Thompson, Adita Damodar Thapa, Siri Tiramuru, Priyanka Thirumal Alagun, Madison Chanel Tolles, Patrick Kyle Thomas, Jamari Kentrell Torin, Ria Thudamila, Isabella Valentina Tovaranez, Ada Giselle Tobias Vergara, Brenda Dan Quinn Tran, Takudo Tamanari, Mintien Ryan Tran, Nicole Andrieska Torresija, Grace Elizabeth Trailer, Sarah Trambu, Lila Grace Trusty, Colin Chow Vin Tran, Adelaide Elizabeth Tucker, Isabel Traub, Holden Patrick Turner, Brian Keith Truchon, Brielle Paige Soffrier, Katerina Moknach Suji, Fernanda Uoa, Lola Grace Faye Tucker, Valeria Urdanetu, Naomi Alana Yvonne Turner, Carla Valentina Uribari Moreno, Amit Sivan, Jose Manuel Valera Martinez, Luis Manuel Ordainita, Weston Reese Vance, Savon Raphael Urquhart, Winseflo Vargas, Soraya Mirsha Valad, London Leanne Varnado, Gael Valdez Aguirre, Jordan Alexa Valivas, Mira Ava Galceran van der Meer, Rishya Samita Vemireddy, Addison Grace Vaughn, Gabriel Hudson Verdon, Vasuda Vembar, Sorengale Valentina Villegas, Nishant Venkatachalam, Caitlin Vo, Abhiram Vimulapalli, Vera Vranhi Khan, Diego Andres Vicuna Portillo, Veronica Anna Wade, Andrea Villalobos, Brandon Zhang Wang, Adaris Viella, Braden Shays Watson, Tiffany My Ann Vo, Nicholas James Watson, Kate Avery Waddell, Lexing Way, Shruti Wagray, Ryan Neal Weinstein, Eric Wang, Xavier Lonnie Earl West, Sergio Alejandro Walteros Hernandez, Jacob Samuel Wheat, Avery Rose Warfield, Aaliyah Charisse Whitley, DeQuaylen Vondrell Laribert Watson, Alexander Stephen Wilkinson, Aiden Kyle Way, Maurice Orlando Williams II, David Mayer Weissglass, Landon Amari Willis, Ava Vi Westbrooks, Penelope Lane Wilson, Ashley Christina White, Amaria Brienne Winston, Brooklyn Saray Whitfield, Jasper Frederick Wolf, Anthony Wayne Wilkins, Madeline Grace Woodcock, Kennedy Page Williams, Caleb Lee Wu, Patrick Noland Williams, Elish Young II, Landon Jake Wilson, Riley Malia Yancey, Haley Marie Winrow, Abigail Anna Yang, Caitlin Paige Weiser, Jessica Jing Yang, Crystal Ocean Wong, Anson Yi, Jalea Ayana Words, Uma Samyungfa Yara, Fei Chu Shu, Amanda Annie E, Madison N. Yachnik, Keishu Yakakura, Trinity Melise Yancey, Ethan Yoon, Cody Chenmin Yang, Noah Antonio Young, Serena Monique Yarbrough, Weishin Iu, Jose Yedra, Jaden Chu Yuan, Jaden Thomas Yen, Miguel Angel Zamora Clemente, Shreyas Reddy Neira Condra Degori, Jason Zhang, Hannah Yoon, Tanai Zhuang, Kaylee Jane Young, Jordan Danielle Zimmerman, Alexander Kenneth Yu, Sitara Rachel Zuckerman, Johnny Yen Yu, Nathan Vincent Zafei, Selma Lynn Zamaripa, Grant Frederick Czar, Eva Roshan Zhang, Audrey Grace Zhao, Ariel Eva Zilberberg, Ida Yu Yi Zhao,
We will now designate our graduate status by the symbolic moving of your tassels. Ryan, Caitlin, Alex, Jade, Eric, and the class of 2026, please move your tassels now. Now, for the last time together, will the Plano West Senior Class of 2026 please stand with me and join in singing the Plano West Alma Mater, followed by the traditional cap toss immediately afterward. After you collect your cap and tassel, we ask that you quickly move towards your back right and my left and find your family. We will now sing the Plano West Senior High Alma Mater.
Thank you for helping us celebrate our graduates by being here today. Graduates, please follow staff guidance in exiting the stadium. Spectators, please allow top rows to exit first as you leave the facility. Graduates will exit and meet you outside on the South Plaza of the Ford Center. Thank you again for being here, and best wishes to our graduates in all their future endeavors.